If you've ever read Musashi's 21 Rules and thought, this makes no sense, you're not stupid. You're actually paying attention. Half of these rules sound like they'd ruin your life, not fix it. But here's the weird part. They work, not the way you think, and definitely not the way most videos explain them. By the end of this, you'll understand the actual reason his philosophy keeps working hundreds of years later. And it has nothing to do with being a samurai. Let's just look at what this man actually wrote, because most people quote Musashi without really sitting with how weird his rules are. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Okay, so don't enjoy things, just walk around like a machine. That's not discipline, that's depression. In all things, have no preferences. So no favorite food, no music you like, no opinion on anything. You're supposed to become a blank wall with no personality. Never let yourself be saddened by a separation. Someone you love leaves your life and you're just supposed to feel nothing. That's not strength. That's something a therapist would want to talk about. If someone walked into a doctor's office and described this as their lifestyle, they're not getting praised. They're getting evaluated. And that's exactly why most people either ignore Musashi completely or they try to follow these rules for like 3 days, feel miserable, and quit. Because taken at face value, this isn't a path to strength. It's a path to being a really sad, really lonely person with no personality. But here's the thing. The people who actually study Musashi seriously, not the motivational edit crowd, not the guys slapping his quotes over anime clips, they don't read these rules the way you just heard them. They read them completely differently. And once you see what they see, you can't unsee it. The mistake everyone makes with Musashi is they read his rules like a lifestyle guide. Like he's telling you how to live your day. He's not. He's telling you how to run your mind. Think about it. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. He's not saying stop enjoying things. He's saying stop letting cheap rewards steal your ability to do hard things. Every mindless scroll, every comfort snack when you're bored, every time you pick up your phone for no reason, that's your brain spending energy it was supposed to use for something that actually matters. Your mind has a limited battery. No preferences. He's not telling you to be a robot. He's telling you to stop being so locked into one specific comfort or outcome that you fall apart when it's gone. That's not emptiness. That's freedom. If you can only function when everything is exactly how you like it, right coffee, right temperature, right mood, you're fragile. And fragile people break the moment something goes wrong. Don't be saddened by separation. He's not saying don't feel anything. He's saying don't let your ability to function depend on someone else's presence. Because the second your clarity depends on another person, you've handed them control over your mind. See the pattern? Every single rule is doing the same thing. It's removing a leak, a place where your mental energy drains out without you noticing. Musashi wasn't building a monk. He was building a machine that runs clean, no wasted processing, no background noise. Everything pointed at what actually matters. He was optimizing mental hardware 4 centuries before anyone had the language for it. And once you see his rules through that lens, the one that confuses people the most suddenly becomes the most powerful. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Most people read that and hear, don't value yourself, have no confidence, shrink, but that's not what he meant, not even close. Think about what happens when your ego is loud, when you're in a meeting and you're worried about sounding stupid. When you're about to start something new and all you can think about is what people will say if you fail. When you post something and immediately check if anyone liked it. In all of those moments, your brain is running 2 jobs at the same time. One is doing the actual thing. The other is watching how you look doing it. That second job eats everything: energy, focus, speed, gone. Not because the task is hard, because you're splitting yourself in half. Musashi figured out that when you stop making everything about you, something weird happens. The fear doesn't go away because you became brave. It goes away because there's nothing left to protect. No image to maintain, no reputation to defend, just the thing in front of you and your ability to do it. When I started this channel, even though I'm still behind the scenes, behind this AI voice you hear, I wanted to make more videos so I could learn more about his philosophy myself. And the more I went in, the more I started applying things without realizing it. There's this Musashi line: there is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within. And I caught myself living that. I'd get frustrated. no video ideas, not moving well in sports, feeling like I'm getting out of shape. And then it would hit me. I control all of that. I'm the one who decides what I do or don't do. Now, obviously within reason. I'm 5'11", I'm not making the NBA. But everything actually within my reach, that's on me. Nobody else. And that connects to something Marcus Aurelius said centuries apart from Musashi, completely different culture. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Same idea. What you let run through your head shapes everything that comes out of it. Two men, two different worlds, exact same conclusion. But knowing this is one thing. Musashi's real edge came from something deeper that most people skip right over. Most content about Musashi stops at discipline and toughness. Work hard, stay focused, don't be soft. But Musashi wrote an entire book that almost nobody talks about, the Book of Void. And it's the most important part of everything he left behind. People skip it because it sounds mystical. The void, emptiness, nothingness. Sounds like some monk on a mountain stuff that has nothing to do with real life. But it's actually the most practical thing he ever wrote. Musashi called it the mind of no mind. And here's what that actually means in plain language. You know when you've done something so many times that you stop thinking about how to do it? Driving. You don't think about the pedals, the mirrors, the turns. Your body just does it. Typing. You don't look at the keys. Your fingers know where to go. Playing a game at a high level. Your hands move before your brain even processes what happened on screen. That's the void. It's not emptiness. It's what happens when you've trained something so deeply that your conscious mind gets out of the way and lets your instincts take over. Athletes call it being in the zone. And when you're in that state, the part of your brain that creates self-doubt and overthinking literally goes quiet. Not metaphorically. It actually reduces activity. And here's the part people miss. You can't fake it. You can't meditate your way into the void. You earn it. Musashi didn't empty his mind through some breathing trick. He swung a sword thousands and thousands of times until the movement became automatic. The void is what happens when preparation meets the present moment. It's the reward for doing the reps nobody sees. Now think about what that means on a bigger level. In life, there's nothing that demands more focus and calm than a moment where your life is actually in danger. Musashi trained for that. And if you can stay clear and sharp in that situation, the worst possible situation, then everything else becomes easier. Work stress? Easy. Competition? Manageable. Creative block? You've already trained your mind for something 10 times harder. That's the real blueprint, not the rules on a wall, the mental training behind them, the reps that build a mind that doesn't crack under pressure. So if all of this works, and it clearly does, why do most people still fail at it? Because you're treating it like a to-do list. Wake up early, cold shower, no pleasure, suffer, repeat. That's not what Musashi was teaching. That's just punishment with a samurai label on it. His philosophy isn't about removing good things from your life. It's about noticing where your mind leaks energy and plugging those leaks. You don't need to sleep on the ground. You need to stop being so dependent on comfort that one bad night ruins your entire next day. You don't need to accept death. You need to stop living like you have forever, because that's the lie that makes you waste time on things that don't matter. You don't need to have no preferences. You need to stop letting your preferences run you. There's a difference between enjoying coffee and not being able to function without it. The whole point is control, not over your life, over your mind. Because that's where everything starts. Every decision, every reaction, every moment you either show up or fold, that starts in your head. And Musashi spent his entire life figuring out how to make that space clean, fast, and unbreakable. Going through this whole process of building this channel, researching and reading everything I could about his philosophy. At first it all felt disconnected. Random rules that sound cool but don't connect to each other. But the longer you sit with it, the more you realize it's one system. Every rule feeds into the next. The mental models, the reps, the training you need just to stay calm when everything is going wrong. That's not samurai stuff. That's the blueprint for anything. If you can keep your head together in the hardest moment, you can learn faster, compete harder, build more. Because you've already trained for worse. Musashi's philosophy doesn't work as a lifestyle guide for 2026. It was never meant to be one. It works as a mental operating system, a way to cut the noise, stop wasting energy on things that don't move you forward, and perform when it actually counts. This man wrote his rules while dying of cancer in a cave. Nothing left to prove, nothing to sell, no audience, no algorithm. Just the truth as he understood it after a lifetime of putting his life on the line. That's why it hits different from everything else you read online. There's no angle, no product, no funnel. Just a man who faced death 60 times and wrote down what he learned. So stop trying to live like Musashi. Start trying to think like him. The results follow on their own. Which one of his rules hit you the hardest when you first read it? Drop it below. I'm curious.